going on? What's going on? Good morning. Bye week is over. Buckeye Roast is back in attendance. Ron, how you doing?
Feeling good, feeling rested. Much needed bye week. Needed some time off, needed some rest, got to sleep in, got to take naps this weekend. So overall, I cannot complain. Glad to be back in the swing of things, but also appreciated the much needed break.
Yeah, man, you got to get rested because it's a big time week. It's Terp week. Is that what we're
Oh,
calling it? Calling it Terp week.
here
Maryland.
we go with this guy over here, the closet fucking terrapin, man.
I
We know
like
this is a big week from Q. He lives in Arizona now, but we know he's a Maryland guy at heart.
Third week is what we're calling it, man. Gotta give a shout out. Wayne was the first one in here. You up early, making the big money. So shout out to Wayne coming in here from West Texas. Definitely shout out to him. And I might have been second. So shout out to me for, getting up and doing the show. But yeah, man. Um, First start had a bye week, so we're back to regularly scheduled. It's good to get a little bit of rest. Got to catch up on some movies I hadn't seen, and if you're a fan of The Boys, Gen V dropped. I talked about that yesterday. Did a little review, but if you like The Boys, you'll like Gen V. So a little movie shout out there. But yeah, man. Also, too, something else big happened this weekend, Ron. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
We hit 5K.
Oh yeah. 5K on the YouTube. Big thank you to everyone. My camera's just not wanting to participate today, so no shout out to them. But yeah, 5K, huge deal. I think we're at 503. We're all the way down to 5,000 again, so we may be slipping under by the end of the day. So if you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe to the channel because we want to stay above 5K.
Most definitely appreciate it. So I'm coming, Ron just in his camera, but like I said, put a lot of effort in. You guys have been there the entire way, helping us out, treating the show, joining in, having conversations. So most definitely, y'all have held it down. Greatly appreciate it. And I guess now we may be looking for six, 7, 8, not wherever we can go.
10K by the end of the season. Make it happen. Q shaves both his eyebrows.
All we gotta do is double it, and I will have three eyebrows. That's how we're gonna roll. But yeah, man. So we just gotta hop through a couple things today, kind of prep. I mean, we're still waiting for an interview to kind of get ready for Maryland, but definitely let's recap the bye weekend. So, Ron, what games did you watch this weekend? Anything stick out to you? I know you want to try to get away from college football a little bit, but still have some good games on there. Well, you still fighting with the camera.
No, I watched 12 hours of college football. Yeah, I'm still fighting with the camera. I don't know what the hell's going on. Can you hear me though?
Yeah, you're good.
No, I watched college football all day on Saturday. The Ole Miss LSU game was insane. I kept looking over and I'm saying like, yo, what quarter are we in? What quarter are we in? And it was like 28 or 35 something at half. And I'm like, it's only halftime in this game. These guys will not keep scoring. The game was action packed. Jaden Daniels balled out, not enough to get the victory, but still a really good game. And then I watched Notre Dame Duke, hoping, fingers crossed, like, oh, Notre Dame's going to come out here and pound these cats, and we're going to look like world beaters, and they struggled. And we're going to get into that later. But those were the two games really on my radar this weekend. How about you?
Yeah, I honestly, so I had a busy day around later on the day, but started up with USC in Colorado, and that looked pretty dark very early on, and then Shador Sanders just went crazy. He threw maybe my favorite pass of the season so far. That dot rolling out of the pocket to the right, hitting wide receiver in the end zone, like with a window like this. That dude said, if he ever gets an offensive line, he gonna be all right. So that was probably the best one I watched. I watched a little bit of LSU Ole Miss game. They were scoring a lot of points. Like, when you get away from Ohio State, everybody's putting up points here. So it's possible. We need to get on the bandwagon because every other game people can score. But yeah, man, some good games this weekend. I got to rewatch the whole LSU Ole Miss. I didn't know that game was going to be that crazy. So I'm gonna definitely put that in there. But yeah, Colorado USC was a good opener to the weekend for me.
outside of college football, what'd you get into this weekend? Did you enjoy your bye week?
Oh yeah, man. Movie content. I've been such away from it that I had to relist. Like I told everybody, I watched The Boys, things like that. But this is a new movie out called No One Will Help You. So it's kind of a horror kind of mystery. So that's on my docket to review and get that out. Try to get that straight, and then went out a little bit. I got out in the town, I guess, to see
I don't
around stuff.
call him City Boy Quentin for nothing.
Absolutely nothing, but yeah, man. So I found my local Trader Joe's so I can get some fresh fruits and vegetables. So yeah, not a bad weekend at all. Not bad. I cannot complain.
Yeah, man. I had a pretty chill weekend. Got to mop my floors. I was super excited about that. I was like, I only have to do one show on Saturday. Like, soon as the show's over, I'm like, just around the house cleaning because I was like, my Saturdays are normally so consumed by college football and things like that. I was like, let me get these floors clean. And then yesterday, I pulled the monitor out. I was gaming. I was like, man, I haven't had a chance to do this in forever. I knew the Steelers were going to ruin my day, so I didn't even watch. Big shout out to my guy CJ Stroud, missed $1,000 parlay by one touchdown, but you were still out there balling. It made it a little bit more tolerable watching the Steelers get pounded, knowing that it was CJ Stroud at the helm for the Texans. So seeing CJ go out there and ball out was dope. And then I went to go see Little Yachty last night. I felt young in the moment. My body does not feel young today. Lots of energy, good show, but
So,
I'm feeling it this morning, and yeah, I'm always like, yeah, concerts the night before work. I'm fine. I used to do this all the time. It's getting harder.
at least you work from home. That's a
Exactly. That's
plus.
the man. If I had to go to the office, man, some of my early jobs in my career, man, they saw some rough mornings from me after concerts.
Nah, that's dope. Definitely Yachty's on my schedule. So we had a concert talk for like it was really an events talk for like 2 hours of like
Yeah.
stuff we need to do. So let's keep working on this channel. We're gonna get best damn media at all the big time sporting events, all the big concerts. So that would be too much fun, man. But yeah, no, you touched on CJ. CJ, man, is the curse over? CJ out here balling out. I mean, I'm like, damn, he saved some of that for Ohio State. Like, like he's really balling out, man. So definitely you watch a game because your team's getting blasted. So what you think of CJ?
It's just great to see him be able to just ball out and end this narrative of Buckeye quarterbacks not being able to get it done. We're 4 weeks in the season, no interceptions. He has multiple 300-yard games. I knew going into the game, I should have put this bet on timeline. I smashed Nico Collins 2 touchdowns because I'm like, anyone's top receiver is going to go nuts against the Steelers defense, man. They stink. If a receiver gets going, he's just gonna get going. And Nico Collins had 2 touchdowns yesterday. CJ just overall just looked poised, and it made you like appreciate what he was able to do at Ohio State because like in the moment, I feel like a lot of people were super critical of CJ, and it was like after that run of quarterbacks between Dwayne, Justin, CJ was like, this cannot keep getting better and better and better and better. Like it has to plateau or at least decline at some point because at some point we're going to reach the peak. And it seems like we were watching the pinnacle of quarterback play at Ohio State when CJ Stroud was here. And it's just great to see him put an end to this narrative in the NFL.
Yeah, and I mean his game was really built for the NFL. In college helps if you're a little more dynamic and get out, create some stuff, blah blah. But you just put CJ back there and say, hey, hit the receivers. He'll be there all day dotting you up. So most definitely, it's good to see him. Hopefully, my guy Justin Fields can get freedom. Yeah, let's go get some pitchforks. Let's go get some signs. Get him out of Chicago. But definitely, seeing CJ Stroud ball out is a thing of beauty, and obviously, well, success to him. Hopefully, they keep an offensive line, keep him clean. You know, what I'm saying, don't have him running for his life at the time because that's usually happens with young quarterbacks in the NFL. And
And
they
that's one of the most impressive things about what CJ's doing already in the NFL is his offensive line stinks, and not only does it stink, it has a bunch of guys injured right now. I think they had 4 people that weren't,
Yeah.
projected starters in the lineup this week. So, overall, CJ has just been continuing the ball with a lack of resources, with weapons on the outside, with a lack of offensive line. So I'm excited to see where CJ's career goes, especially as they're able to get him weapons. But you did bring up Justin Fields, who for the most part had himself a decent day yesterday. He had an interception and a fumble loss, but he also had 4 touchdowns, 335 yards. Can't do the not seeing a completion percentage here, but it's looking pretty high. It's 60 something ish, if my math is right off the top of my head. But overall, Justin having a bounce back game. Did you catch any of that game?
Didn't catch it. Just saw some highlights, and I was like, "Oh, just feel playing out." But then I saw the highlight at the end of the game, and I was like, "Oh no, little Buckeye on Buckeye violence here." So, just Jonathan Cooper, of course, nice to see him over there getting the TD, but unfortunately, Justin Fields on the other end, so a little bittersweet. But yeah, just saw the highlights for that one. Usually, our Saturdays are so packed that when it comes to Sunday NFL ball, I'm like, ah. I'll save myself for next Saturday because college football
Bro,
slate is so.
I'm so checked out anymore when it comes to college football because we're doing so much football during the week that it's just like I need some time away. Yesterday I watched like 3 quarters of the Steelers game and most of Red Zone, and then I just started watching Netflix and took a nap before the concert because it's just like with us being up so early to do this show every day, we're doing the Bleacher Report content, the post game reactions, the pregame shows. That it's just so much. So to sit and just like consume football all day again on Sunday after doing a show in the morning, it's just like not realistic. And I feel like it's cutting into my Steeler fandom, but they're trying to draw me back, but like it's just not happening, especially when my team stinks right now. It's just hard to get a lot of NFL watching in, and I don't play fantasy anymore. I don't know if you're a big fantasy football guy, but
Can't do it.
yeah, I was in a fantasy football league a few years back, and man, did it get ugly as far as arguments and fights over commissioners making goofy rules, man, arguing about whether or not a guy should be able to play a running back and wide receiver. I was done after that. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna gamble like a degenerate on Sundays. Fuck this fantasy shit, and I'm gonna just see me at the sports book, man. I don't even gotta watch the games. I'm over here with my first anytime touchdown scorer parlays, and that's all I really need to get me through my NFL Sundays.
Yeah, I am not any good at fantasy. But chat, if y'all are nice at fantasy, you playing, let me know where you ranking in your league right now. Because more power to you. Because I will be that guy who I drafted my team. Team will be full of ballers, and then I just forget about it, and half my team's hurt by like week 4. I'm still starting them out for the season. It's still starting. So
You the
that
type
that's
of
me.
nigga to draft Plexico Burris.
Yeah. He hadn't played all season. And I'm like, why am I losing so much? Oh yeah, half my team is out. So that's definitely happened. But more power to him. Hold on, get this thing going. There we go. But yeah, overall, man, a good weekend. And obviously, I think Pops put it early. It's homecoming weekend for Ohio State. We're back in attendance, big time. Nick Mangold and Malcolm Jenkins are both going into the Hall of Fame, the honor. So definitely shout out to them. Ballers out, and it's Maryland week, and so definitely excited for that. But want to touch on a decommit. Well, first of all, before I get to that, for people in here, like the video again. Appreciate y'all having us. I appreciate y'all watching us. Appreciate y'all getting us to 5K. Is much appreciated, and only up from here. But yeah, so we had a decommitment yesterday from Mark Nave, one of our recruits early on, lineman from Ohio. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, a little surprised by it because he seemed like one of those like Captain Buckeye type of guys, like super
Yeah.
into this class. You saw our offensive linemen pretty locked in on the timeline together. They talked a lot. They did their visits together, so it seems like they had a pretty good bond there. And you like to see after a decommitment, you saw a lot of the players come out and just say, you know what I mean, it's still all love and You know what I mean? Everyone's still on a good page after the decommitment. You saw Jeremiah tweet about it. You saw the Armstrong twins tweet about it. So obviously, he's probably doing something that's best for himself. One of the things that I thought about in this situation was we saw him repping at tackle last time he camped at Ohio State and at camps over the summer. And Ohio State had him pegged as an interior offensive lineman um, on their recruiting board the entire time. So I'm wondering, at 6'5", 315 pounds, does he think that he's going to get an opportunity to maybe play tackle somewhere? A big body kid. I believe he believes in his athleticism as far as the ability to play tackle. So I'm wondering if he thought like maybe he has a better opportunity to play tackle and can contribute and maybe even set himself up for a better opportunity elsewhere outside of Ohio State.
Yeah, I'll save me out real quick. So, like the video Ryan did, calls it a toss to the boundary.
If you don't want to see any more tosses to the boundary,
Don't want to see no more of that. Like the video, but appreciate y'all. But yeah, Mark Nave, yeah, I'm with you. I'm a little surprised by this. I've heard things from his mutual to Ohio State's moving away from him, so maybe we're getting somebody else big time. I know we're in the hunt for Jordan Seaton and things like that. But with Nave, obviously I don't get a chance to see him play like week to week. So I ain't nowhere near his high school, and some people do that we've talked to. But I thought he had big time potential. Interior lineman, he was athletic. He is huge, 6'5", 315 is crazy. But a guy I definitely would have liked to keep in the class. I mean, he had the Georgia offer, so we weren't the only ones who were like, okay, this dude's got some potential here. So, but definitely wish the best for him. Wish we still had him stick around. But obviously, kids got to do the best for themselves. And Ohio State has too well because it's all some business at that point. So much success to him. Hopefully, he balls out somewhere and keep it moving. But yeah,
do you think with the loss of him, we need to add another lineman in this class?
yeah. So the way the class was set up with Nave, the twins, forgetting the other right tackle that's highly ranked. I'm forgetting his name off the top of my head. You'll know what I'm talking about. But I know Brandon Baker and Jordan Seaton were the other two they wanted, and that would have been the complete class with six. So obviously Brandon Baker lost him to Texas, and then under Jordan Seaton they're out there. So yeah, I'm really surprised Nave is now out the class. So maybe they're after another one or two, but I thought they were going for six, especially because we've kind of missed and taken a lot of projects. And you think after the season, a lot of those linemen who haven't played are older. So it's not like you have a stack of like young guys who just aren't playing yet. You got a bunch of older guys who have not played yet and probably are gonna look to play at other places. So yeah, I'm surprised we ain't taking as much as we possibly can get. So maybe the portal.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with this room. I definitely think they need to add a couple more bodies. I don't think they can go forward with just 3 offensive linemen in this class. They'll either need to add in the portal or before the end of the year. But as far as like quality uncommitted offensive linemen remaining, that list of people is continuing to dwindle. So I don't know who they are going to find there. But yeah, a little bit of disappointing recruiting news over the bye week. Kind of unexpected as well. I definitely didn't think we would be getting recruiting news coming out of the bye week, but shout out to Mark Nav and best of luck in his commitment or in his recruitment that he has now remaining. So last week we saw Notre Dame and Duke take on each other, and we talked about this a little bit in the intro when we were talking about the games that we watched during the bye week, but I wanted to get your thoughts on this game just because of all of the eyes on Notre Dame after their close loss to Ohio State. And what are your thoughts on that game in general? Because I know a lot of eyes were on Notre Dame to see if they were able to bounce back and how they stacked up against a team that was able to beat, Clemson earlier in the season and thought to be one of the better teams in the ACC.
Yeah, and I thought they had Notre Dame. I thought Notre Dame was dead in the water before Sam Hartman ran for 20 yards, and I was like, oh wow, they actually let him bail him out. But I thought it was a good game. I think Duke is just on the come up. I mean, You're a Duke basketball fan, so maybe you have some insight there on maybe they got some dudes who hoop that's walking over to the football team, in their spare time.
I think
'Cause
it's all Mike Elko, man. They got a new coach in there, and he's had that team ready to play for 2 years now. We saw them break the U over their knee last year. We saw them beat Clemson earlier this season. I was kind of torn. I would have liked to see, be able to push some narratives about the ACC and say that Duke is the best team, but at the same time, I want to be able to say, look, Ohio State has a top 10 win. Notre Dame's a good team. They beat one of the better teams in the ACC. So like it gave me a little bit of confidence to see that they won, but I wanted them to go out there and look dominant, and I wanted to see Sam Hartman light it up because I had myself convinced that Sam Hartman is a good quarterback, and Ohio State did big things by stopping him the previous week. But then you look at the box score, 0 touchdowns, 50% completion percentage, and they have to come back in the final drive, and it's like, yeah, how good was this team we just beat?
Well, the thing is, I think it's pretty subtle that Notre Dame is a good team. Don't think they're a great team, but I think they're a very solid, good team. So that just gives credit to Duke. Is like Duke did beat Clemson, who was in Florida, went down the wire with Florida State, who's a top 3 team. They say tell us so. Definitely, it's just a good team over there and a good game. And obviously Notre Dame, like kind of like Ohio State. At the end of the day, you look dead in the water, you find a way to pull out games, and that's what good teams do. But definitely shout out to Duke, man. And they get some momentum. They building over there. I love to see it. I love to see more teams in the ACC than just a walk in the park for a Clemson or a Florida State. So definitely get a monster in there, waiting for somebody, for my guy Chris Drews at Georgia Tech, somebody to go in there with all that talent in Georgia and really turn them up. So I love to see it. But for the little bit I caught, I thought it was a really good game.
Absolutely. So that takes us into actually, there's one more game that I wanted to talk about last week, and it'll bring us into this week's game. And there was a team that I wanted to keep my eye on defensively because I lied to myself, I lied to all of you, and I'd like to take this time to apologize right now. I was telling people that Indiana had a good defense, and that's why Ohio State did not look great against them. Got some NFL guys out there like you don't know. You should have seen the linebacker play. Watch the all 22. And then I checked the box score of Maryland, Indiana. And Maryland beat Indiana 44-17. Talia had 350 yards and 5 touchdowns, another touchdown running. Does that give you pause for concern when you see that box score and you're like,
You finished? I think he paused. Well, does it give me pause concern? No, because Maryland is just like that. No, I've been pushing push that narrative. Obviously, I did think those linebackers from Indiana were really good, but I think Ohio State went there and struggled just a bit. But no, it doesn't really give me pause concern. I actually am looking forward to this because I'm looking forward to somebody really testing our secondary, which we haven't really got. It's like, okay, Notre Dame, they got Sam Hartman and all that, but who's he throwing to? And I said that, like Denzel Burke, Igben Nelson, they're gonna look good, but when it comes down to it, like I don't know if there's any wide receivers that's really challenging our guys. So definitely Maryland's gonna do it. Mike Loss is gonna have them air it out, and there he goes. Mike Loss is gonna have them air it out. And we're going to actually see what these DBs can do. The safety play, the quarterback play has been really good. I think probably the strength besides the interior of the defensive line. So that is something I'm definitely looking forward to. And Talia, we talked about him last year. Obviously, Maryland, they don't have the most talent going around the offensive line, things like that. But Talia's been balling out, man, for the last couple years. I mean, if you're Alabama, you may be like, damn, like we really should have did everything in our power to keep this guy, because as soon as Mike Lashley got a hold of him at Maryland, he's been impressive the entire time. So definitely I give more credit to him and what Mike Lashley does with his offense than necessarily say like, yeah, Ohio State was just that bad with quarterback and receiver play going into Indiana, which they weren't really that great. But I still think our defense, our secondary is going to have a good matchup with them. And this will really show the test here. This will be early on where we'll be like, okay, let's see. We went through the first 4 weeks really unscathed. Talia, we know, can throw the ball just like Sam Hartman can, but he might have a little more on the outside than Notre Dame does, and let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm shocked that Josh Gaddis hasn't found a way to ruin this team yet.
They probably don't let him touch the playbook. It's like he's probably just in attendance.
They just have him on the sidelines, just standing
Yeah.
around like, don't touch anything.
What do you see? Okay, sounds good. I'll call on you in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and no recruiting for you. Hey, get out of the stands. Leave that boy's mother alone.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. So we're obviously going to dive more into this game throughout the week. We're doing a little bit of a short show today, but overall, after seeing that performance that Maryland just had for Indiana, do you have concerns going into this week?
Well, I was just talking about it. I wanted to see the matchup with Talia going against our secondary. I still think even after seeing Sam Hartman, Notre Dame didn't have the horses to really test them. So I'm still looking for somebody to be like, okay, we're really actually legit, or like, all right, it's a little bit of fool's gold so far. So that's the most thing I'm looking forward to. Maryland can put up points; they have the possibility to, but I mean, I think our defense is on another level than Indiana's. I would hope so. so
Are you
so
expecting a level up from our offense in this Maryland game?
that
Like,
is
is there
that is
something that
the
you want to see from them? Like, I feel like we have yet to see a complete game where all of our wide receivers look like the highly touted prospects that, you know what I mean, they're advertised to be. Our quarterback looks like a Ryan Day quarterback. Travion Henderson looks like the number one back in his recruiting class. Like, do you think we can see a performance where this entire offense comes together?
that is the hope. I don't know if we're gonna get a lot of games where the whole thing is flowing and we look like we have the best running backs, receivers, and quarterback and line. Like it's a little bit more herky jerky than that. And I think certain people with the amount of depth here and the amount of different players that we put in, I think certain people are gonna have certain games. So like last week it was Travion Henderson really breaking out, but you didn't see as much from Marv and Emeka played well as well. So I think it's certain guys will have good games. I think it's going to take well into it's like Penn State, Michigan times to actually have us like, all right, everybody's got to go here or we might lose and you might get a little more flow. So still think it's a work in progress, but I'm expecting certain guys to have breakouts and they're still kind of figuring it out here. But as far as going to Maryland, I think they're going to put up points and put up well enough for us to win.
Yeah, they better.
Hopefully.
They better. That's all I gotta say on that. We better see some enough points to at least beat them. I would love to see the offense click on all cylinders, but at the same time, if they're getting the wins, that's all I'm concerned with for now. But at some point, you would like to see this team level up. I feel like the one thing that I took away from watching college football this weekend, like, I think we have an elite defense. I think we're figuring things out on offense, but I don't know if this is a championship caliber team yet.
Yeah.
I feel like they have a championship caliber defense, but overall, as a team, I feel like our team feels beatable when I watch college football on Saturdays.
Yeah, it's like Ryan Day's beard said. If we beat up on them, they'll say it's just Maryland. So we'll definitely get that like we always do. But yeah, I've been saying it. I don't know, but when I look around college football and just watch games and watch different teams, I don't know if there's a team out there that's just a gauntlet or a juggernaut. Everybody seems to have clear weak, not even like slight, but like clear weaknesses. Like as good as USC's offense is, their defense is abysmal. Like Texas, I think has some chinks in the
They
armor.
had the artist formerly known as number 17 playing on Saturday, and
Yeah,
can't be taken serious doing that.
they look great. I mean, I even think Texas has as good as they look. I think they have some chinks in the armor as you've seen at certain times. So definitely, and in Georgia, I mean, you don't know what they're gonna get for the weekend. I expect them to put it together by the end of the season, but they certainly look beatable right now. So Ohio State is not the only one. Unfortunately for us, I thought this team would come out more on fire. It seems like we had the talent. They're just not putting it together yet. But like I said, play your best ball at the end of the season, and we got a couple games coming up here that we just really need to have it put together so we can get out with a win. So as far as it goes right now, everybody has weaknesses. Just got to survive in advance.
Absolutely. I appreciate you waking up this morning to do this because, man, I know it's early out there. Your boy's tired coming off the weekend. It is a bye week. Not a lot to talk about. We're going to definitely dive into this Maryland game more this week, but we appreciate everyone pulling up today. A little bit shorter show. Q, you want to let the people know where they could find you?
Yeah, man. Well, first of all, I'll be here every morning, 8 a.m. Thank y'all
Ish.
again. We got
8 a.m. ish.
yeah, 8 a.m. ish. Well, not 8 a.m. for me at all, but for y'all, 8 a.m. Certainly, again, thank you for helping us get to 5K. It means a lot. I mean, we've been at this for 7 months now, ish, or I guess somewhere around that, and never thought, in our first year, first season, we get there. So definitely appreciate that. We keep the content coming. We're doing a bunch of stuff, so definitely, hopefully, every day you'll get something. If not, we'll have it stacked for the last day to keep it carried over. But if you're going to find me, City Boy Quitting on Twitter, not hard to find. Flying Johnson on Instagram, Minor League Films, trying to get more movie stuff up. So that'll be up on YouTube. That'll be up on TikTok, and I sometimes throw on my Instagram if it's a good video. I actually have a scene reaction I'm gonna do today from an old like horror-ish movie that I think is gonna be pretty funny. So check it out there. But that's all place you can find me, Ron.
If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2Ts. That's 2_TEES. You can find me on Twitch. It's the same thing. You can find me on TikTok at 2Shiesty. Yeah, me and Chris Drew will be on Bleacher Report 8 times this month. So make sure that you have the app downloaded and keep an eye out for us in the Ohio State team stream. I think our first stream this month is on the 5th. So keep an eye out for that. We have the Fans Edge on Wednesday with Mike, Cam, Q, and EG, or not Q,
Yeah,
Disney
I'm
and
there.
EG. Yeah, Q is going to be on the Fans Edge this Wednesday.
I'm there.
um, College football pregame show with Chris Drew on Saturday mornings, and then of course the flagship Buckeye BS with me, Q, Mike, and Cam. Big shout out to Mike, by the way, too, before we get out of here. If you didn't check it out, we had Mike call in from the Arkansas Texas A&M tailgate. He was interviewing people. He was talking to people at the tailgate. Q's dream of content for Best Damn Media was finally achieved this weekend. We had people on site at games, interviewing people. So that was super cool. If you didn't get a chance, check that out. And yeah, hoping to do more of that type of content here on the weekends for the college football pregame show. So make sure you tap into that. And of course, Buckeye Roast, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday with me and Q. Make sure you tap in. We appreciate you joining us. I don't have the intro video because I got kicked out of the stream mid-show, so no outro video today. But appreciate you guys tuning in to the Buckeye Roast, and we will see you guys tomorrow.